Line 3 Enbridge oil pipeline has been up and running now for more than a year, but the impacts of its recent construction are lingering.
The construction led to several aquifer breaches in northern Minnesota, which resulted in millions of dollars in fines for the company and even criminal charges. And now internal records obtained by Fox 9 investigator Nathan O'Neill show Enbridge knew about some problems earlier than they let on.
Line 3 has been a flashpoint for environmentalists, tribal communities, and the oil industry. And while the pipeline has been a magnet for controversy, internal records from both the state and the company itself reveal what happened in the days and months following those aquifer breaches, a response that kept the public in the dark for months. On this cold April day in northern Minnesota,
so just down here, there's an access at the bridge.
This group of citizen scientists are keeping an eye on this stretch of land where an oil pipeline is underground.
There's a thermal indicated spot just partway down here.
It's a strenuous feat on foot and in the air. It's part of an ongoing effort to keep tabs on Enbridge's Line 3 oil pipeline corridor, which spans more than 300 miles of Minnesota wilderness, from Canada to Superior, Wisconsin.
Our team regularly snowshoes in or canoes in and has to travel significantly to access these sites that are far away from the public eye.
The oil pipeline crosses several tribal treaty areas, land once taken from Native Americans in exchange for preserving their right to hunt, fish, and gather on the land. So you lived in the corridor of the pipeline?
Yes. So the pipelines went like this around our house.
Victoria McMillan is an indigenous consultant for the group known as Wadukawad Amikwag, which translates to those who help beaver.
It's a big scar on the land because this is her body. And they dredged, they trenched all the way through, and then they put an implant in.
She fears damage done by the pipeline has compromised the land's natural resources, from the wild rice beds to the waters that sustain them.
It's a violation of our treaty rights.
Line 3 became fully operational back in October 2021, but case records obtained by the Fox 9 investigators reveal Enbridge was aware of some problems a lot earlier than they let on. Let's go back to the first troubling signs. In Clearwater County, an uncontrolled water flow was first noticed in January 2021 after large sheets of metal used to reinforce the soil breached an aquifer. When an aquifer is breached, it can create quicksand-like conditions and compromise the natural flow of groundwater with the potential to disrupt the environment. State records reveal Enbridge did not notify the state of the problem at first, and even after the company issued itself a, quote, unacceptable report in March, Enbridge again did not bring the issue to the state's attention. In fact, this internal email reveals it wasn't until 6 months after the problem was first detected that the state caught wind of it. This email called it a, quote, serious situation, with about 15 gallons of water per minute gushing out of the aquifer. In total, 3 aquifer breaches were identified by the state, which led to $11 million in fines for Enbridge. The company claims on its website to have since fixed those breaches. Enbridge declined our request for an interview, but directed us to these company-produced videos detailing their restoration efforts.
We are all working together to make sure that we are not impacting the resources.
In a statement to the Fox 9 investigators, Enbridge said, quote, "We sincerely regret this happened and are working with industry partners to improve procedures to prevent this from happening again." But the company's public messaging during the ramp-up to putting the pipeline into operation neglected any mention of the aquifer breaches. Not a word, including when we spoke with them back in 2021. How confident are you and the folks at Enbridge that this new pipeline won't compromise tribal resources or the environment at large?
Well, because we've done the work, because we, one, followed the law, followed the regulation.
Do you think that the company and the state agency that's supposed to oversee this has been as forthright as you'd hope?
Definitively not. This is not a transparent process.
Jeffrey Broberg is a geologist with 4 decades experience under his belt, including 10 years working in the oil industry. He's concerned about the potential impact on the land from breaches like this one near the Fond du Lac Reservation.
They reported the flow from that having been 219 million gallons of water. That's about the same amount of water that a town of 6,000 people uses in a year.
And that's how much was lost?
That's how much was lost out of that one breach.
Today, he's working alongside the Wadukwawad-Amikwag group.
Every one of these hot spots in that corridor are upwelling groundwater.
He analyzes thermal images captured during third-party flyovers of the pipeline corridor, looking for signs of more problems. Simply put, because the ground may be frozen and the water and the groundwater is a different temperature, you can tell when there's been a breach.
Correct. I ended up identifying 45 sites in the 355 miles that had emerging groundwater right on the pipeline within the corridor. This is our map of the 45 sites. So you can see they're in every county, all the way from North Dakota through the headwaters of the Mississippi.
Enbridge says they have flown over and walked the pipeline route repeatedly. But as for any other potential problem sites, the company says it has, quote, not been made aware of any specific locations. And while the state has not confirmed any additional aquifer breaches, it is continuing to assess areas all along the corridor.
We have 2 hot spots.
Still, these advocates plan to keep pushing for answers. What would you like to see happen?
No more harm.
And for accountability where it matters.
We're under no illusion. We're not shutting down the pipeline. We're not going to impair the flow of 750,000 barrels a day. That stopped when they turned it on. But we want to make sure that our communities are safe, that if the water has been disturbed, then it needs to be restored. If it can't be restored, they need to be accepting responsibility for it in perpetuity.
And while the state attorney general filed criminal charges against Enbridge for those violations, the company expects those charges to be dropped as part of their settlement agreement with the state, which of course also includes restoration of the land. For the Fox 9 investigators, I'm Nathan O'Neill.